this painting was a joy because things were changing so over here. And I worked across the street. I wanted this. And I started putting in all the people I care about because it was not a commission. And you see this shape of a young man over here? He said, would you put me into the picture? Now, he was one of the drug addicts. And this was called Needle Park. This was a dangerous area. So I was careful not to go into the park, but they would come out to say hello. And when I asked him, okay, where shall I put you? He said, would you put me next to the bus stop over there so it looks as if I have some place to go, as if I'm a real person. So I did. And one day, I used to eat in the garden cafeteria, and I would park my car wherever there was parking. So one day I came, and this man was standing there, and I knew him from the Needle Park. And he said, I was watching your car because I was afraid somebody could steal it. And many years later, when I was working in the Wall Street area, this very well-dressed man came up to me and he said, you don't remember me? And I said, no. And he said, I used to watch that nobody would touch your car across from Needle Park. I mean, nothing beats sitting on the street and painting. Nothing in the world. Okay. Do you want me to introduce you to people?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
This man over here with the clothes, on a chain, he showed it to me. He had a cross and a Star of David. And he said, you know how I earn my living? If I'm in a Jewish neighborhood, I hide the cross. And I just show the Star of David. If I'm in a Christian neighborhood, I hide the Star of David and I just show the cross. He says, I make a good living. These were the people who had a bar across the street where I worked, and they used to bring me ice water on the very, very, very hot days when I worked.
Which people?
These two right over here. They were wonderful. This man is wonderful because he was the teacher in the sculpture class. This one right over here. The Educational Alliance, right. And they allowed me to sit there and to paint. You'll see the painting afterwards, across the street. This is Margaret, who taught me so much about art.
The woman next to him?
Yes. She's wonderful. She was born in Czechoslovakia. Hitler came. Most of the family was killed. And she said when the Russians came, she was in a crew which cleaned paintings. They had them clean paintings in museums. And she says, do you know what we did? We cut an onion in half. And with the onion, you cleaned the paintings. But I love her. She died quite a while ago. This is Professor Wolf, who did this incredible book, Synagogues of the Lower East Side. And because of him, I really learned how to do history. When he does something, Renee is his photographer. But there's amazing, amazing stories about everything. Most synagogues were churches originally. And then as the neighborhood changed, they became synagogues. And now most of them are already gone, decayed. I'm beginning one just now, one which is still alive. That was me. This is a long time ago. I made myself look slim.
In the pink
That was
shirt?
in 1980. No, in the pink shirt, this is Eric. This is my mother. This is our son, Ken. This is our daughter, Joni. These are the dogs we had at that time. This is, have you heard of Elaine's?
Elaine's?
Elaine's, a restaurant.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Well, it was a very popular hangout for actors and actresses. And I found out that she comes from the Lower East Side, so she posed for me. This is Mr. McGreen, who ran the Bowery Bank, and they gave me my first exhibit. And this man was a boxer once, and I have in my files tons of information which he gave me of when he was young and famous. The wonderful thing about sitting on a street corner, after a while everybody stops and tells you their stories. This is a family friend, Dr. Zimmerman and his wife. And he came to me once, he came to our art gallery, and he was also our doctor. And he saw me working with a magnifying glass in my hand and the brush in the other. And he said, Hede, that's ridiculous. I'm going to bring you something. And he brought me one of those wonderful glasses, which you don't have to hold. So when I do my miniature faces, I use this.
What year is that about?
That's on the Lower East Side, by the way. That's from that painting.
Around when did you do this painting?
Pardon?
Around what year?
1980, so I would have begun it in 1979.
Okay. So it's more than, it's 79 and 80. Huh. And are all of these people really individuals that you can...
Ask me about it.
you can talk about?
Okay, these are not.
Okay, not all the way across the street.
No, because they're too tiny. I couldn't have done a face.
Okay.
Okay. This man was from across... Oh, I met her when I was doing a painting of the Plaza Hotel area. So you do see an elegant figure. Yeah. We still correspond with each other. Mm. This woman had her 2 children. I have photographs from her. She would come all the time to bring them to show me, to show the children what I was doing. Mm-hmm. This man had the grocery store, fruit store, across the street. This man was a retired history teacher who worked for the Smith Funeral Home, which is down the street.
The guy with the glasses and the hat?
Right here, this one.
Yeah.
And he taught me always to put street signs on. He said, Hede, he said, if you don't show people the street, then it could be any place in the world. And he said, be very specific when you do that.